Welcome! In this video I'm going to be taking a look at this Lexall dual source rechargeable EDC worklight. So this is provided to me by the distributor, but they're not compensating me for this video and they're not reviewing it before I post it. If you find this video helpful and you want to purchase one of these, I'll put a link to it in the description, and if you use that link it helps me out a little bit and doesn't cost you anything extra. So if we look on the side here, it says clip design, fast charging, magnetic, 12 modes, spotlight or floodlight, waterproof. So let's get this open. So here we have the flashlight, charge cable, and a manual. Let's take a quick look at it. Features says 3 light sources, spot, flood, and RGB. Has an SMD spotlight, long range lighting, cob floodlight, close range wide angle lighting, RGB light for camping, warning, decoration, atmosphere, decompression, and so on. It has a glow in the dark reflector, magnetic base with the belt clip, battery indicator light function, and it's IPX6 waterproof. So the instructions say to fully charge before using. The indicator light shows red when it's 25% charged, orange at 50% charge, green at 75% charge, and blue when fully charged. So it has a switch for the spotlight. You can long press it for dimming, and it has a button for the side or cob floodlight. You can double click it for RGB mode. To extend its life, you want to make sure you charge it every once in a while if you're using it infrequently. You want to charge it at 5 volts at 1 amp or more. So this comes with a USB-A to USB-C cable. And here we have the light. So it's a metal body and it has a lot of heft to it. It just feels really sturdy. It has a large cob here, spotlight here, and then we have the RGB light. Here's the USB-C charge port. Let's try charging it. So I'll plug in there. So we can see the charge indicator. It's a very large charge indicator, and it looks like it's charging up that last 25%. And it's charging at 0.8 amps right now. So that can vary depending on the state of charge of the flashlight. I'll just let that continue to charge while we're looking at it. So here we have the 2 buttons. We have the spot and the floodlight. Now if we double click this, it will turn on the RGB light. On the other side we have this clip. It's a large clip. We have magnetic base here. There is a piece of plastic on it I can peel off. It's kind of rubberized. That can offer some protection against surfaces you magnet it to. If your surface is painted and has dust on it, it could grind that in, so you want to make sure your surface is clean. But it feels super nice in the hand. It just feels very rugged. Let's go ahead and unplug it. Now I'm going to demonstrate the light in the dark, but I'm just going to go over the modes here just to demonstrate them. So if we press this button here, it's going to turn on the spotlight. Press it again, it's going to go brighter. Again, it turns off. So let's go to the top mode and then we'll hold it down. And we're going to have that stepless dimming. So it got to the bottom and it flashed. Let's hold it down the other way. It gets to the brightest level and it's going to flash again. So let's see how this works. I'm going to do it about halfway and then I'll do it again. So it looks like whatever direction you're going, up or down, it's going to continue till it hits the end, and then it will go back the opposite direction. So we have a side cob here. I'll turn that on. So that's coming out here. Hit it again. We're on the bright mode. We hold down. We have the stepless dimming. Now if we double click, we're doing this button, we're going to have the RGB light turn on. So that's here. If I click here, we're going to go through different modes. The Amazon page lists 4 different modes. It has flash, revolving, breathe, and steady. So I'm going to do a couple different tests. The first one will be at short throw. So in this test, I'll have the flashlight and my camera about 4 foot from the wall. Okay, I have a little bit of light coming in from the side, but it's pretty dark in here. I'll turn on the spotlight. So here we're on low, and there's high. So I'm going to move this a little closer. So you can see it has a bright spot in the middle, and then it kind of has some ringing towards the edges. Let me turn that, let's turn on high again while I'll show the dimming. So we can do that stepless dimming and drop it down. Now let's do the side cob light. Now the spotlight would really be meant for further away, so the cob's going to be more ideal. So here we have the cob, and you can see it has a nice even light, and it kind of cuts off towards the edges. So that's on low, and now we're on high. So it's very bright. I'll hold this down and we'll do the stepless dimming. And we're on the lowest mode. So on this lowest mode, if you had a tent with a little loft net on the top of your tent, you could put that in there and use this as a tent light, and it would be a nice, even, but not too bright light for your tent. So I'm going to double click this now, and we have the color changing light there. This is what it looks like against the wall. Now we have this light. So this is changing colors. So you could say set this down in front of a wall and have it kind of project up onto the wall for a lighting effect. You could use it direct or indirectly. Here's this mode. And this is just a color change mode. So a number of different modes there. Now I currently have the light off, and you can see we have this green glow from the glow in the dark part. So if you're using the light and you set it down, you can easily tell where it was while that's glowing. That's a really nice feature. If you're on the side of the road, say changing a flat tire, and you turn the light off and set the flashlight down, you could easily lose this in the dark. But just that little bit of light there will help it stand out. So for the next clip, we'll take this outside and we'll test it at a distance. Okay, so I'm standing at the end of my driveway. I'm about 50 foot from the garage doors in front of me. I'll turn the light on. This is the spotlight, and this is on low. So you can see that. And this is on high. So this is very bright. It's lighting up the whole drive here. You can really see all that light. Now let's turn the floodlight on. So here's the floodlight. And even the floodlight lights up the whole driveway. Now it's not as bright on the doors, but the main part of the drive is brighter. So that's on low. And this is on high. So that's a very, very bright light. So on whatever mode it's on, within a few seconds when you press the button again, it will shut it off instead of switching modes. So it makes it faster to turn off. Now the RGB lights are not really going to be visible on the driveway. And again, we can see that glow in the dark from the side floodlight. So here I am at my car tire as if I got a flat. Now this has a magnet on it, so I can magnet it right to the fender, and I'll turn that light on, and you can see that's very bright. And there it is on high. So if you're changing a spare tire, you really don't need it that bright. You can turn it on the lower mode. So that magnet makes it very convenient. So here I'm at the engine bay of my car, and I can turn the spotlight on, and I could use this. So if I was looking maybe deeper into the engine, I might turn this on, but I think the flood would be more useful. So here we have the flood. This is on low, and this is super bright on low. There's not many reasons why I would need it brighter, but this is what it is on high. So I guess if you're detailing your car engine, you want the brightest light possible, you could use this mode. Now my hood is made of aluminum, so I can't magnet this to my hood, but I can magnet it to my hood latch because it is made of steel, so I'll do that. So you can see the light up here, and it shines nicely on here. So if I'm doing some kind of general work, maybe I'm just changing oil or something and need a little bit of light, I could magnet it there. If I want to detail like around this area, I would probably rather just direct it right at that. But that gives me good general purpose light under the hood. So that's the Lexall Everyday Carry Spotlight Floodlight with RGB light. Now if you want a larger flashlight that's everyday carry, I think this could be a great option. It just feels rock solid, it's very sturdy feeling, and it puts out a lot of light, but it has this narrower profile than say like a round flashlight. Now there's a little icon here that it gets hot, and it does get warm in the hand. That's one way you can tell it's putting out a lot of light. A light like this would be great in a preparedness kit. It could be good for repair, camping, power outages. It has the magnet in the back, so if you're working on automotive things or appliances, you can magnet this to like a washing machine and have the light shining down onto a control board or something. Works well for that. It also has that clip, so when you put it in your pocket, it stays more secure. And it's very easy to use. You just press the button to turn on the light closest to the button. So this is the spotlight, this is the floodlight, and then it has the two dimness levels. Of course, then when you want to go into the RGB mode, you can just double tap this second button, and it will turn the different RGB modes on. So if you're having a party and want a little accent lighting, you could set this in a corner. You could hide it pretty easily because it's small, and you could have it emit that light. I think a light like this could also make a great stocking stuffer or gift for someone. So that's all I'm going to cover in this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you liked this video, please click like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate it if you could do that. And thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.